Bill Gates is known as one of the most influential figures in the world of technology. The founder of Microsoft, one of the richest men in the world, and a philanthropist who has changed countless lives. But there's something about him that few people know. Many of his acts of kindness go completely unnoticed. This is the story of one such act, a quiet gesture that changed a life forever. A few years ago, Bill Gates traveled to Nairobi, Kenya, to attend a global health conference. His schedule was packed with meetings and events, but he always enjoyed exploring the cities he visited. That day, he decided to take a walk, alone, blending into the crowd like an ordinary traveler. No security, no entourage, just himself in the streets of Nairobi. As he turned a corner, he noticed a woman sitting on the ground with a young boy beside her. The boy looked weak. His skin was pale, his eyes dull, and he barely moved. Bill hesitated for a moment, then walked closer. The woman glanced up at him and offered a small, weary smile. She tried to speak, but she didn't know English. Bill reached into his bag, pulled out a small notebook, and quickly scanned through some basic Swahili phrases. Then, in his best attempt, he asked, "What's wrong?" The mother's eyes welled up with tears. "My son is sick," she said softly. "But we have no money for a doctor." Bill crouched down and looked at the boy. His small chest rose and fell with weak breaths. He had a fever, but more than that, he was malnourished. It wasn't just illness, the child had barely eaten for days. Something inside Bill stirred. He had spent his life working in technology, building companies, changing industries. But this moment, this helpless mother, this sick child reminded him of something bigger. Without a word, he reached into his pocket, pulled out a small piece of paper, and scribbled something down. He folded it carefully and placed it into the woman's hands. On it, he had written the address of a nearby hospital and a simple note: "Take your son here. Everything is paid for." He slipped some money into her palm as well and gave her one last reassuring nod before walking away. The woman stared at the paper, confused and overwhelmed. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know what had just happened. But she knew one thing. For the first time in weeks, she had hope. A few days later, at a hospital in Nairobi, a malnourished boy was admitted for treatment. His case was fully covered by an anonymous donor. He received medical care, food, and a safe place to recover. In a matter of weeks, he grew stronger, smiled more, and slowly returned to the lively boy he once was. His mother never found out who had helped them. Bill Gates never told anyone about what he had done. He didn't do it for recognition, for media attention, or for a story. He did it because he could. Because sometimes, helping one person can mean more than changing an entire industry. Months later, as the boy played in the streets of Nairobi, his mother still held onto that small, crumpled note, the note that had saved her son's life. Bill Gates never met them again. He never asked about what had happened after that day. But somewhere in the world, a child grew up healthy because, on one ordinary afternoon, a stranger decided to care. True wealth is not measured in numbers, but in the impact we have on others. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. See you in the next one.